Welcome to our webinar, What to Expect at Red Raider Orientation. We are excited to have all of you joining us today. My name is Christine Self with Parent and Family Relations, and joining me today is Miguel Soto from Orientation Services. This webinar is part of our Red Raider Family webinar series, where we share information on topics of interest to parents, families, and supporters of our students. We hope this webinar will help you get prepared to attend Red Raider Orientation with your students this summer and learn what to bring and what to expect. We'll share some information about next steps, but this webinar primarily focuses on attending Red Raider Orientation. Don't worry, there are other webinars focusing on topics like financial aid and tuition billing, living on campus, campus safety, and others planned this summer. We plan to keep this webinar to about 30 minutes or so. If there's time at the end, we'll open it up for questions using the Zoom Q&A feature. In the meantime, feel free to type in your questions throughout the presentations. We do have some folks working behind the scenes to answer your questions for you. We are recording this session and posting it and these slides to our website so that you'll be able to review them again later or share with others. We will also email the recording link to the email you used when you registered for the webinar. So let's go ahead and begin. So Miguel, what exactly is Red Raider Orientation?
Thanks, Christine. Good afternoon, everyone. I'm glad to be here with y'all today. So I'm excited to be able to share the news of what Red Raider Orientation is and what to expect. Red Raider Orientation is essentially the kickstart to getting familiar with your home here at Texas Tech University. It's an opportunity for you to get connected with your academic advisor. It's also an opportunity for you to get connected with our current students. Our crew members have been training since March. And are ready to be able to welcome you all here. So you get to hear from them. You get insight directly from our students. For our families, it's also a great opportunity for you to become familiar with the support system that exists here at Texas Tech. It's a two-day program that ultimately our goal for you is when you leave Red Raider Orientation is that you get your classes for your first semester. So it really does encompass a lot of essentially getting familiar with Texas Tech, getting insight on what support exists here at Texas Tech, but also just becoming familiar with your home here and getting connected with current Red Raiders and getting life here. Or getting understanding of what life here exists at Texas Tech. Our families, we want you to know that you also have a support system here. And we encourage you to attend. It's not a requirement, but we really want you to be able to come to Texas Tech, get a feel for what this home looks like, what the support system at Texas Tech looks like for your student, and also what we want to do to support you through this transition as well. And so we do have programming dedicated to our families so that you can get connected with the support system here as well. So it really is a two-day program to really just get you familiar with life here at Texas Tech and also understanding what support services and what resources exist for both you and your student here during your time here at Texas Tech.
So what are some things that students should do before coming to orientation?
So the homework doesn't stop just because they've graduated from high school and haven't started classes here at Texas Tech. So there are some things that are being communicated to your student at the time that they're admitted for things that they need to be taken care of. So there's a checklist of things. We call it the admitted student task list that has essentially a layout of what to expect. Things that they can be taken care of. A huge thing that we want to make sure that students are taking care of are removing any registration holds that they have. This is related to the immunization hold, so submitting your shot records. This is related to TSI, so submitting any placement scores in order to make sure that they're college ready. Taking care of any housing holds, so whether or not they're going to live on campus or if they're going to stay on campus or stay off campus, making sure that they are doing one or the other, getting approved to live off campus or submitting a housing assignment here. So making sure that they take care of that housing hold. The other thing is obviously you can see it on the third bullet there is completing those online modules. Our modules went live April 15th. So any student who's currently registered for orientation has access to this. There's about 18 modules or so that take about 69 or 90 minutes to complete. It really is all the ins and outs of things that they need to know prior to becoming a student at Texas Tech and also prior to coming to orientation. And so wanted to make sure that they take care of those online modules, but it really does give them insight from the back end perspective on what it means to be a student here at Texas Tech and what they are expected to know as a student. A few things that we want to make sure that they are aware of is to make sure that they're checking their Texas Tech email daily. Our communication is coming to both their Texas Tech email and personal emails, but a lot of our academic advisors, a lot of our college representatives are sending communication to students directly through their Texas Tech University email, because that's going to be where the institution communicates to the students during their time here. And so we want to make sure that we're reiterating that they are checking that daily, as it does give them information on what to expect and how to prepare for Red Raider orientation. Another thing for families is to get connected through the Red Raider Family Network. There's monthly newsletters that come out by our partners here at Parent Family Relations. There's a lot of things that come out in terms of just interest, content. I'll let Christine speak a little bit to that later on in this presentation, but we want to make sure that you have access to that, so that you are also getting communication related to orientation, but also as they start their time here at Texas Tech.
Thank you. And then can you talk a little bit about the guest fees and what they cover for our families who are coming to orientation?
Yeah, absolutely. So again, we do not have a family requirement at Red Raider Orientation, but we really do encourage your presence if your time and schedule allows, because we want to make sure that you are very familiar with your time or with the resources here, but also what just life looks like here at Texas Tech, and how we're supporting your student throughout their academic year. So we do have a guest fee. It's $50 per guest for anyone over the age of 8. You can see there that the guest fee covers obviously our program. So every guest will get a resource guide, a schedule. You'll get a tote bag that you can use, at sporting events, since we do have a clear bag policy. It does cover dinner on day 1 and also breakfast on day 2. Any registered guests also can use a ticket to get a t-shirt. So we do have a t-shirt for all of those folks. And then for anyone who just wants to unwind with, lemonade, tea, water, or even just, an alcoholic beverage, we also have a social that you can use a ticket to be able to just unwind and have a socialized environment with other families here that are here to attend Red Raider orientation with their students as well. And then obviously you can see some administrative things there. It covers parking, staffing, technology costs that we use, building costs that we need for Red Raider orientation. Anyone under the age of 7 doesn't have to pay a fee. We give them a t-shirt as well. We give them a small little bag and a coloring book as part of sibling supporters. So we encourage anyone who wants to attend Red Raider orientation, pay that fee. That fee does have to be paid through your student's registration portal prior to arriving at Red Raider orientation. If you have to make last minute changes or you decide last minute that you want to come, we can also accommodate that on site. But if you know of anyone who wants to attend prior to coming, we would encourage y'all to go in to that registration portal, sign them up, pay that $50 guest fee per guest to kind of just help expedite that check-in process. But again, that's only a fee for anyone over the age of 8.
Thank you. So here are some highlights for your schedule at orientation. So again, it is a 2-day program. So here's some highlights for day 1. You will receive a complete printed schedule when you arrive at orientation and check in. And there will also be a preview on the Orientation Services website. So during check-in, your student will receive the items that they're going to need during orientation, and they'll have the opportunity to get their room key for staying on campus. It is important to note that families and guests will need to arrange for hotel accommodations during orientation. Like Miguel said earlier, guests will receive a clear bag, which will be fabulous for coming to family weekend or other athletic events, because as he mentioned, we do have a clear bag policy at our athletic facilities. You'll use that bag to gather items during your orientation experience. So you'll need it for all the goodies that you'll pick up at the Red Raider Family Session and the Campus Resource Fair. So again, check-in here will begin at 10 a.m. on day 1. You'll park at the Z3 parking lot near 19th and Detroit. I'll show you a map here in just a little bit. In the morning and afternoon of orientation, this will be when your student can work to remove any remaining holds that they have. There will be a big welcome session with you and your students together. Then you'll go off to the colleges. So whether your student's studying in the Whitaker College of Engineering or the Ross College of Business or the College of Human Sciences, you will all go off and get a specialized welcome from the college staff and faculty over there. After that college welcome, you'll come back to our student union building for the Red Raider Families Supporting Your Students Transition session. During this time, you will learn all about your Red Raiders support network at Texas Tech. and those important conversations to have with your student before the fall semester begins. After that session will be the Campus Resource Fair. Well, you'll get to meet firsthand a lot of those support team members. Then there are some breakout sessions. Some ones that families tend to be interested in are the Financial Matters session with financial aid and student business services. There's also a first year success session, a first generation Red Raider experience session. You can learn about study abroad. There's also a student organization fair at this time for your student to get connected with groups that they might want to join. So all that stuff's going on in the afternoon. Then you'll have a fajita dinner with your student there in the student union. And after that, students will head off to go do fun student things, and parent and families will come do fun parent and family things at the social at the McKenzie Murcutt Alumni Center. So that is just a great time to relax, unwind. You'll pick up that t-shirt and enjoy some beverages. And it's really just a great place to meet other Red Raider family members and relax after a, fun day that's also got a lot of walking and all those things in it. And we'll talk about that here in a little bit too. So what's going on day 2, Miguel?
So day 2 is really dedicated to making sure that your student is ready for their first semester at Texas Tech, whether that's in the summer or in the fall semester in August. We really want to make sure that you are spending the time that you need to meet with your academic advisor, but also to get any last minute questions answered that you may have. Like Christine said, we know that day 1 is a lot of information, and we want to make sure that you have the time and space to be able to process all of that and think through what questions you still have, and then also still have the platform to be able to ask the questions that you need answered. So day 2 is dedicated to really just all things academics. So we'll start at 7:45 for breakfast. We'll actually have an opportunity for students to pick up their ID, their college ID that day as well, that morning. They come to breakfast, they get their ID, and then we kind of go into our welcome session. After that, we're going to go into a session really fully dedicated to kind of understanding the registration side of things. We'll obviously cover the schedule for the day, but really focusing on, okay, so your student is about to go to course registration. What does that look like, and what is that process going to be? And then we'll basically lead everyone to their academic advising session, and this does vary by colleges. The academic portion of it is really focused on getting students registered for classes. So they'll review the degree plan. They'll also give the students the opportunity to work through building their schedule. And then ultimately, we hope that you leave Red Raider orientation with that class schedule in hand, or just on your account, whatever the case may be. But our goal is that the students leave their academic advising session with a registered course load. So thinking about where do I get my first semester classes, it's going to be during that academic advising session at Red Raider orientation. So on day 2. Like I said, day 2 is also dedicated to that platform for you to ask those questions. So we've got several things happening kind of after 10 o'clock that morning, a lot of choose your own adventure things. So our one stop is dedicated for those that just have questions. Parent and family relations is going to be there. We're going to have housing be there, hospitality. If you have any questions related to college readiness and the Texas Success Initiative, TSI, they're also going to be there. If you by chance didn't get your t-shirt on at the social, you can pick up your t-shirt there. Our one stop is really just one place dedicated with all these offices to help give you the opportunity to ask any last minute questions. If you're curious to know what your residence hall looks like, we've set up some mock rooms in Talkington and Horn Knapp Hall. So you may not necessarily be touring the building that your student is going to be staying in, but at least you're going to be able to see a model room of what that looks like. So those residence hall tours will start at 10 a.m. as well. Like Christine mentioned about, some of the sessions that are really of interest to our families, you have the opportunity to meet individually with those offices as well. So our student financial aid and scholarships office, our student business services folks, for any questions about military and veteran benefits, we have a great opportunity for you to sit down one-on-one with those individual offices to ask any individualized questions that you may have. That's may not necessarily specific to everyone, but specific to you. So a great opportunity for you to be able to connect with those offices. And we really want to emphasize that orientation is a great opportunity for you to get connected with your home here, but also leave here feeling supported and ready to start your first day of classes. And so we have a checkout at the Jones A&T Stadium where this is your last and final opportunity to ask any questions, but also we want to make sure that you leave there understanding your next steps, whether that's buying your books, getting ready for move-in, things to expect, all of those things. Our checkout at the Jones AT&T Stadium is just dedicated to you to make sure that you're prepared for your next steps. It's a come and go, and our hope is that you can get a picture at the Jones AT&T Stadium as you kind of culminate your orientation experience and head home for the summer before you get ready for move-in. A key thing as we're talking about travel plans and everything is that our hope is that you don't plan to leave here until about 2 o'clock, because again, this is just an opportunity for you to get any questions answered. And so we really want to make sure that you have the time that you need to be able to get those questions answered, but also make sure that you feel comfortable as you leave your time here at Texas Tech.
Wonderful. Now we've mentioned some locations, so I wanted to show you where these are located on a map. And so you can see here on your screen, the Student Union Building is kind of where all the big meetings will happen. So you'll be going there a lot. Students will be staying either in Hewlin Clement or Wall Gates, which are residence halls that are very nearby. And then the parking is the Z3 parking that is for both of those residence halls. And so that's where you'll be parked. Also noted on the map is the McKenzie Market Alumni Center, and this is where our parent family social will be on the evening of day one. So you can see that these locations are all pretty close together. Now, where the walking comes in is going to be when you're going off to the colleges, to those specific meetings, depending on what college it is, there might be a lot of walking in there. We'll talk about that a little bit more. And then also not pictured on your map is Jones AT&T Stadium, which is on the northeast corner of our campus. So speaking of parking, Miguel, can you talk to us a little bit about what to expect as far as parking during orientation?
Yeah, so we have a dedicated parking pretty much across the street from our main facility for Red Raider orientation. It also is the parking lot that surrounds our residence halls that they're staying in over the course of the summer. So we've got 2 residence halls dedicated to, or I guess 4 residence halls, 2 buildings dedicated to Red Raider orientation, and it really does vary depending on the session that your student is attending. So if they are attending Red Raider orientation only and there's no camp component, they're going to be staying in Wall Gates. If you have a student who's also attending Red Raider Camp post Red Raider orientation, they will be staying in Hewlin Clement. And those will be the buildings that they are staying in through the duration of that time. So if it's orientation only or orientation in camp. But again, that Z3 parking lot does surround both of those buildings. So right across the street, there's a little bit of walking, but not too much walking. As you're preparing for your trip here, we really do ask that you don't park in any other lots on campus unless you have a permit yourself, or you can see down the way that there's an ADA accommodations segment there. But the rest of our lots are dedicated to our Texas Tech faculty and staff, and those are monitored. And so we have our 1 lot dedicated to Red Raider orientation, free of charge, no fees associated to that. But if you do park somewhere else, you do risk being cited for your time here at orientation. So want to make sure that you don't park in any other lots. About 1 week prior to your Red Raider orientation session, you will receive communication that kind of details all the event stuff that you need. So check-in, parking link is going to be there, all the things that you need to do in order to prepare for your Red Raider orientation session. Our first session is 2 weeks from today, which means if you are attending that first session in 2 weeks, you will get that communication next Friday. But otherwise, 1 week before your scheduled orientation session, you will receive all of those details via email, yourself as a registered guest and also your student, again, through their Texas Tech University email and also their personal email. So keep an eye out for that. You want to make sure that you are registering your vehicle, since there is that requirement to register your vehicle ahead of coming to your orientation session. This also goes for any rentals that you have. So if you're renting a vehicle, if you're flying in and driving, or if you're driving a rental, you just want to make sure that you're also preparing to register that vehicle. We will also have registration links on site in the case that you may have missed that parking registration, but you want to make sure that you do your due diligence as best as you can to register ahead of time so that your orientation session does go off smoothly.
All right. So let's talk about what to bring. So Miguel, can you talk about what should students plan to bring with them to Red Raider orientation?
Yeah, so like I mentioned earlier on our day two segment, we have the opportunity for our students to pick up their student ID, their Raider card here, and we want to make sure that your student is prepared to bring a government issued ID for student ID pickup. This could be a license, this could be a passport, whatever the case may be. But they will basically verify that the person who's picking up that ID is the student that is requesting it. And so by chance, if you miss your ID or whatever the case may be, you can always pick it up at move-in in August. And so that's kind of a plug that I want to make sure that you note is that just if you don't pick it up at orientation, it's okay. You can always pick it up later. For course registration, we do encourage people to bring a laptop or a tablet. Every college does things differently. Some colleges have computer labs, access to computer labs, some don't. Some meet in our student union building, and it's just tables and chairs. Communication again is being sent to those students via colleges or by the colleges via email, and they are really detailing that information. But we encourage all students to bring a laptop or tablet for course registration. I would really pay attention to those emails because some people do need it on day one, some people don't. So again, it does vary by colleges. So we just want to make sure that you're prepared for that and reading that email clearly. For those that are staying on campus, we provide the room and the key and the card to get into the room and the bed, obviously, but we don't provide any sort of overnight accommodation. So beddings, towels, all those things, any toiletries, anything that your student will need for an overnight stay. We want to make sure that you're prepared for that. Your students do get two t-shirts during Red Raider orientation, and for those that are coming to camp, they also get three t-shirts in that sense. So their attire from a shirt perspective is pretty much set for them. But any other additional clothing that they may need, bottom, shorts, all those things, overnight things that they need, they want to make sure that they are planning for that. We do have the opportunity for our students to go to the rec center during orientation and also Red Raider camp, and there's other also physical activities that are happening at camp. So any swimwear that your student may want, any athletic attire that they may want, we want to make sure that they are prepared for that. We do recommend closed-toe shoes because there's a lot of walking, especially during the Red Raider camp. There's a lot of physical movement happening, and so anything that they want to do to prepare for that physical activity and night at the rec is a great opportunity to prepare for.
So I want to talk a little bit about what you should bring as a parent or family member. So if you feel like you're going to be speaking individually with, say, financial aid or military and veterans programs, bring those financial documents that you think you might need to have those conversations. Cannot emphasize enough, this is a casual event. Please wear casual, comfortable clothing and shoes. Texas Tech is a very large campus and you will be walking around a lot. So expect that Texas summer heat, right? And again, depending on which college your student's in, where those meetings might be, you could be walking quite a distance. So wear those super comfortable shoes. However, as hot as it may be outside, we do love our air conditioning in Texas, as many of you are probably aware. So some of our rooms might be a little bit chilly. So it's a good idea to, think of layers, bring a light jacket or a cardigan or a sweatshirt or something like that if you tend to get cold in air conditioned rooms. This is maybe more for your student, but Miguel talked about the meals that are included in orientation, but some are not. So make sure your student has access to pay for additional meals if they want to. And just a note that our dining locations on campus are cashless. So we just want you to be aware of that. And then Miguel, if you could share with us just some general overview ideas of what to expect, again, attending as a parent or family member.
Yeah, absolutely. So, a big thing that we want to emphasize is that we are also here to support our families through their process. And so, most of our sessions are dedicated to time spent with you and your student, but we also have some that are spent separately. Specifically, on day one, there's two sessions. Day two is pretty much dedicated to you and your student. So, most of our sessions are together, but there are a few that are separate. While you're making friends and connections across orientation with other families, students are also doing the same thing as well. When it comes to academic advising, I want to make sure that I share this that every college does advising differently, and they are doing advising based off of a lot of it is based off of space and capacities. And so we want to include our families in that advising process or advising conversation as much as possible. So just know that every college is doing something differently, but that involvement is huge, and we want to make sure that our families are a part of that process as well. A big thing that we want to make sure that you are aware, so students registered for orientation, there's not necessarily anything that's paid up for except for the guest fee, but you actually won't be paying any tuition at orientation. Communication about payments and all those things will come at orientation, how to do that, how you can pay the bill, when to expect that. But you can see here that tuition is due 3 days prior to the start of classes. All of that is electronically done and sent to your students' email address in late July. And so again, you want to make sure that your students are taking care of that and looking at that. Anyone who wants to pay the bill can be set up as a proxy user to be able to do that on your student's behalf.
Right, and you've mentioned a few times Red Raider Camp. Can you tell us about that?
Yeah, so Red Raider Camp is new to campus. I would say that we brought Red Raider Camp to Lubbock for the first time last year, and we've already seen a huge increase. We've doubled our registrations. Actually, I think we've tripled our registrations from last year, and we're expecting over 1,800 students. But it's an opportunity for you to do Red Raider orientation on Thursday, Friday, and extend your time here in Lubbock and do Red Raider Camp on that same Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So it's essentially a 4-day adventure where you get two great experiences with two different programs, all culminating your experience as a Red Raider. Students will stay on campus during that time. So they stay on campus Thursday, Friday for orientation. They don't need to check out. They'll have the same room, the same building during that time. Like I mentioned earlier, Helen Clement halls are dedicated to Red Raider orientation and Red Raider camp sessions only. So kind of key thing, if you're coming to Red Raider orientation and camp, you do not need to check out on Friday, but you will need to of the halls, but you will need to check in to Red Raider camp post Red Raider orientation. The key highlights that you can see here for Red Raider camp is students really get the opportunities to further explore campus. So we get to go to the Jones AT&T Stadium. We get to see more than what we just typically do see at Red Raider orientation. There's components where you get to choose your own adventure. We connect you with our student activities board. We really dive deep into the history and traditions. Red Raider Camp is really big on history and traditions. It's rooted in those concepts. And so we really want to make sure that you're getting the opportunity to experience that. The neat thing about this setup is that the students that spent time together at orientation are the same students that are spending time together at camp. So those friendships, those relationships really build deeper and there's a bigger meaning to them. So it's a really great opportunity for you to build connections and make new friends before you come to classes in the fall. A neat thing about Red Raider Camp is that we mix our groups. We don't combine them by majors, by colleges. It's a mix of people. So it's a great opportunity to meet different people that you wouldn't normally meet in your college. And ultimately, it really is just a fun time to have fun. We really want to capitalize the spirit of what it means to be a Red Raider, and so we really build upon that during the time at Red Raider Camp. So it's a 3-day, 2-night program in addition to what you would experience at Red Raider orientation. For our family members, we recognize that since this is a student-only session, you probably are the travel plans for your students. So we actually have a LBK bucket list essentially of things to do. You can explore our art museums here, our art district, breweries, wineries, anything that you want to do there. We have we have a list of things that you can do here in Lubbock and experience. We have some great food, some great music. It's a great opportunity for you to make your time here in Lubbock more meaningful and get familiar with what exists outside of Texas Tech. If your student is interested, we do have a few more spots open in our July sessions. We do want to make sure that we're encouraging students to do orientation and camp together because that's the way that they're set up to be and intended to be. And so if your student is in an orientation only session and wants to do Red Raider Camp, you can always log back in, select the new session type for both sessions, and then we can get them registered for that. If you have any questions or any issues, you can always call our office and we can help walk you through those options.
All right. So as a parent or family member, there's a few things that we want you not to leave orientation without. The first one is asking questions. There are plenty of opportunities built in to ask questions, connect with our staff and ask questions, connect with the orientation services staff and ask questions. You also have those specific times built into the schedule for you to do that. So please let us know what you need while you're here at orientation or follow up with us later. Make sure again that you connect with our staff. You'll have opportunities to do that at the big family session on day one, as well as the social on day one and the checkout time on day two and the one stop. So there's plenty of opportunity to connect with us After all, we are your office on campus. We're here to help you throughout your student time here at Texas Tech, beyond orientation. And then make sure that you take some time to meet families from your hometown who you may be surprised that are here at Texas Tech at the same time as you for orientation. And those families who are, your students have the same major, so that you can make those connections with others and make those social connections, make friends with some other families that you can call and talk to after orientation's over and you've got some of the same questions. So make sure that you take advantage of that. I know Miguel has already mentioned this, but just making sure that your students checking that Texas Tech email address frequently, if not every day. Really important reminders will come there. And then you are part of the Red Raider Family Network, or you very likely are since you use that to register for this webinar. But make sure that you're logging in frequently and you're reading those communications that come from there. That communication will become deeper after your student registers for classes at orientation. You'll start receiving more tailored information for the families of current students. It's really a great way to be involved. You can also use that Red Raider Family Network to request a connection to your student for FERPA purposes and see some of their student records that way. And you'll learn all about the Red Raider Family Network in our session at orientation. So a few next steps. We have our website on there for you. Please visit it, bookmark it. It's, that's your website on the VAST Texas Tech website. This is yours. So there's lots of information for you. We do have some additional webinars coming up so that you can learn further about some of these topics. So be sure and sign up for one. We want to make sure that you have saved the date for Family Weekend, October 24th through 26th. Football tickets are already on sale and they're going fast. So if you want to come, please bookmark that date and go ahead and purchase those tickets. We also know that that date does not work for everyone. So on our website, you'll see our Family Days calendar. And this will give you some ideas of what to do when you're in Lubbock. Like Miguel mentioned, there's lots of great things to do in Lubbock, even while you're here at orientation. And we keep that calendar updated year round. So check that out. Just a couple of notes about move-in, or as we call it here at Texas Tech, Tech-In. Students will receive an email from University Student Housing about signing up for a time slot for moving in, and that time slot program will open for all students on June 3rd. So that's coming up pretty quickly. So if you need more information about what that looks like, visit the housing website to learn more. Now, if you're concerned about your student moving in early and classes not starting until August 25th, don't worry, we have Raider Welcome. These are activities to keep your students engaged, involved, and outside of that residence hall that they've just moved into, all the way leading up to and beyond when classes start. So there's lots of things for your student to get involved in and do and meet other students during Raider Welcome. And then finally, any last reminders, Miguel?
No, I just want to, emphasize that we are so excited to have y'all this summer. Key things to remember is checking that Texas Tech email and making sure those holds are removed before coming to orientation. And then obviously completing those modules. Those are some homework things that students can be doing right now in order to prepare for their orientation session. And more information will come via email for both registered guests and students. If you have any questions, if you want to look at our schedule, I know it's been put in the chat several times, but we have drafts of our schedule online right now if you're kind of questioning what to expect. Our lines are always open for you to ask any questions, so feel free to email us or call us. You can see our contact information there. And a shameless social media plug, we'd love to connect with you on social media. We are excited to be able to start rolling out some content related to orientation this summer. So you can follow us at TTU Orientation on all social media platforms, specifically Instagram. But we'd love to connect with you ahead of time. Let us know how we can help support you before you prepare for orientation. But we are excited to welcome y'all here this summer.
All right, so we are out of time. However, we have been answering your questions that you've typed in, and we will stay on behind the scenes just a little bit if you still have questions. So feel free to keep typing those. Again, I want to thank Miguel and thank everyone for being here today. We would love to hear what you thought of our presentation. So we've got a QR code on the screen, and we will follow up later today with an email with a link to the survey. But we'd love to know what you thought of our presentation so we can always be working on improving it. But we are very excited to see you this summer at Red Raider Orientation. Please don't hesitate to reach out to either one of our offices if you have any additional questions. And speaking of questions, we're seeing those in the chat, so keep those coming. We will stay behind and get those answered for you. So thank you very much. Have a wonderful rest of your day.
Hey, Christine, I'm going to go ahead and